Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to look for the approval of the agenda. The agenda of the special council meeting held December 1, 2025 to be approved as presented. May I have a mover, please? Moved and seconder. Thank you. Any comments or questions from members? Deputy Mayor Barr, can you hear me?
I don't know if she signed on back on yet.
Okay. We'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Does any member have pecuniary interest? And if so, what's the general nature of that interest? No declarations. So we'll move on to 4. Motions for consideration at the council of the corporation of the village of Merrickville-Wolford received for information the motions for consideration document as presented. Mover, please. Thank you. Seconder, please. I'll say it. Oh, I thought we were going to go home early. Seconded. Any comments or questions from members? Call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Barr joined us yet?
Yeah.
Not yet.
She said to go ahead and proceed until
Yeah.
she's. Yeah.
Thank you. Going to move on to number 5, draft 2026 operation budget. That the council of the corporation of the village of Merrickville-Wolford received for information the draft 2026 library budget and the draft 2026 operation budget. May I have a mover, please? Thank you. Seconder, please. Thank you.
Second.
I will now invite staff and Mary Kate to provide an overview of the present draft budget. So, Ms. Plumley, how did you want to proceed?
Welcome to the table. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll just go ahead then. We've included the entire library budget that's been approved by the board. What we're asking for is a grant from the village is not covering most of this. It is covering the first 3 items and expenses, the salaries, the sort of payroll burden, and the benefits. And on the second page, if you skip over, it is covering the insurance and audit and the well sampling, which are things that we get are sort of costed back to us and then we pay back to the village. So that is pretty much it. It's an increase from last year, but it's mostly related to the salaries and just moving along with the new pay equity, the new salary grid from last year. And that's, I thought there might be some questions, so.
Pretty much it. So are you ready to entertain questions then?
Sure.
Does any member have questions for Mary Kate? In regards to his budget, go ahead, Councillor.
Yes, can you clarify about the salary grade and how that is bumping us from 67 to 101,000 per year? Our salaries, that's a line item.
67 is not what that's actual, like that's year to date. It's from the budget for 2025 was 93.6. So you're just in the wrong column. That's just what we got.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
first time I've seen this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thanks.
So it's going from there to there. And we're just getting somewhere one step in the salary grid, which is the same as it's sort of based on the municipal salary grid that you guys passed in 2020.
It was approved by council.
So
Could you please re-clarify year to date? Was that till October?
yeah, it was the numbers we got in October.
January to October? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from members? Has Deputy Mayor Barr joined us yet? Not yet?
She is now.
Deputy Mayor Barr, do you have any questions? Can you hear us?
Her mic's on mute.
Now to unmute. How's that? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, yeah.
Okay. I do not have any questions to add.
Perfect. And moving forward, Deputy Mayor Barr, I may not see your hand raised, but just jump in and remind me that you're still there whenever you have a question, please.
Thank you. I will do that.
Thank you. I do have one question, perhaps. Staff may be able to answer this, the well sampling. Is that not something that we took on as a municipality when we decided to do, to take over the, exterior operations of the,
I believe we-
library? Would that
You
not?
pay initially and we compensate you, is that what happened?
Basically, it's included in our grant and then we pay it back to the municipality.
Okay,
So it's just like a lateral transfer. I think it has
Yeah.
something to do with the way the water
Yeah.
bills go.
I understood that, but I think at one time we had made some headway on, giving you a little bit of relief because it was becoming overwhelming with the exterior of the building and its
Mhm.
maintenance. So I was just wondering if that was, if that had not been incorporated, with that lateral move that we did in support of the library.
I-
We can do that going forward, I guess.
Yeah, we're just following the past practices, so
Yeah.
whatever was.
I believe it's really just the covering sort of the aqua sampling and stuff like that. So it's just kind of costed back, related to water usage and stuff. That's what,
Yeah.
it's not like
Capital.
it's not a capital cost, or it's not
No,
repairs and things. Yeah,
No,
so.
I understand. It's just that we,
I mean, however you guys want to do it, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, the money comes to us, the money goes back, I don't think actually money moves, I think it's
it was just a question because I think what we had done, if memory serves, and please, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we've done is that we've taken on the responsibility as the municipality to maintain the exterior of the building, and that it was only going to be the responsibility of the library for interior, needs. So I'm just wondering if
I think,
perhaps if that was something that we did, and because I'm seeing it on the library, and I wondered if we should not be in our operational.
it's a well sampling, it's not a capital cost or anything like that, it's just a well sampling.
Yeah, I understand that. I just, where it was captured, I was just, questioning
Okay.
that because we had made a decisive move on supporting the library and assuming all those costs through the municipality rather than the library trying to source funds
Well-
or continue to ask for grants, that it would be something that they wouldn't have to be.
Well,
Concerned with?
if it's council's wish to make that change, that's
And
the
then
way
we
I
can
can
remove the revenue from the water and wastewater.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this goes into the money for
Yeah.
the water, so.
Yeah, I was just asking for clarification if that was something that was missed or something that we should reconsider,
I don't,
so
Yeah.
take the pressures off, because it is an exterior component of the library, wouldn't be interior in my mind, but I was just wanted what the thoughts were.
okay, we'll have a look and see.
As I say, since the municipality has been sponsoring that and it's just kind of gone back and forth, we worried about it too much, so. But however it works for you guys, we're good with that.
It would be just $3,000 less that you'd have to worry about. Okay, so anything else from members? Go ahead.
What's the forecast then for year end? Considering we're at 129, if I'm reading that right, it spent until the end of October.
I think everything is pretty much on track for being more or less where it should be. And I don't think anything's gonna go over budget particularly. There's some things that are low, but like the heating and stuff has been low because we hadn't got into the cold season just yet. And then the salaries just keep going on, every 2 weeks as, and that's always the biggest thing. So I don't think that we're going to have any particular problems this year. I don't know that we're gonna be particularly under budget for anything. I guess we'll see. I've not had a financial statement yet. We usually get them sort of quarterly, so. I certainly know what I'm spending, but I don't know so much about all of the expenses associated with payroll, such like that.
Was your question answered? Counselor?
I have a follow-up
Sure.
that I see. It looks like 7.8% increase in overall budget from 2025 budget.
Yeah.
So it's much higher than CPI.
Yeah, no, it's partly the audit was really a lot more expensive last year than we had originally budgeted for. It was more just for the audit than we had budgeted for the audit and insurance. So that's up a little bit. Mostly it's because staff moved one step on the pay thing, which increases, that's where most of the salary increase came from. So it's a large percentage of our budget. you had asked before about the Montague thing, and I can tell you that, we've got an agreement with Montague to sit down next year and, discuss a funding, putting in a funding formula going forward with Smith Falls and our library. So, that's been agreed on by Montague Council that they're going to do that before the election, so. That's what's happening with the funding for Montague. You would ask about that
Good,
when I
thank
came
you.
in for,
That's good.
annual report. It's not making any difference this year, but, it should going forward.
And going maybe for the next version of this, could we see for the next meeting, a column with the percentage changes for all the line items?
I could do that. I will point out that only those 6 items are things the municipality is paying for. The other ones we're getting other revenue to pay for. We've increased some of our things for programming and stuff related to our strategic plan and for the interior, but we're sourcing that the funding from other than the municipality.
Okay, thanks.
So did you, Counselor, you still want that percentage?
I prefer at least on the bottom line to have the percentage shown as what the increase is. But
As I said,
it's easy to add it to all the lines. It's just a spreadsheet.
Is that something that you'd be able to provide to council for that?
when you need that.
Well, it all depends on when we are moving forward the next discussion. That would have to be driven through staff, so we would have staff reach out to you, but I.
Yeah, I'm sure, unless it's like tomorrow or something. I'm sure.
No, we would
Sure,
never
we
put you
would
under
do
that type of pressure. So,
I'm not the mathy one, so you know.
not a problem. Any other questions or comments from members at this point? Nope, I do not have any as well, so thank you very much, Mary Kay. We appreciate it. Look forward to the updated document. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Blumley, how did you want to proceed then?
I'm going to send it over to our treasurer and let her do a presentation. I know it's been revised since the initial one she sent out last week, but this one is a little more user friendly. I think it's a much better document, and since we haven't had a big chance to look at it, if you want to go through it for a few moments and ask questions, that's fine.
I think it might be appropriate for staff to sort of give council an idea what the thought and the process
Sure.
is, and a quick overview on that. Because this is the opportunity for staff to present. This is an opportunity for council as the voice of the public to ensure that we're on a correct path here, and we need to take that opportunity and understand that questions are just that. They're not putting any pressure on anyone. It's just that we need to have a clear idea of how we're moving forward. So we appreciate that. If we could just get a quick overview and thoughts, and then we can go page by page.
Yeah.
If that's
Well, first we'll run down the analysis, I think, of the changes that from what you had received in the past.
Yeah, so our first draft came in, I believe, at a 15.54% tax increase. So staff have been working hard since that last meeting to try and reduce that. So we have reduced that by 5.83%. The increase over last year's residential rate is now 9.61. So a highlight of some of the reasons why we're able to do this is we have found some increased revenue. We have a legal insurance reserve, I believe, with 155,000 that we really don't use. So we're gonna draw 55,000 out of that to help offset the 6% increase to insurance. We also have a little over 8,000 sitting in our recreation subsidy reserve. So we're proposing to use that to offset the $18,000 cost for the Smith Falls agreement. We did also receive a fairly big WSIB rebate for 25 due to our good track record, I guess. So we're proposing to transfer 9,000 of that as revenue, again, to be used towards health and safety expenses for both the fire department and public works. We decreased the transfer to the capital reserves. We are using 40,000 that was earmarked in our working funds. We're suggesting we can use that for capital ditching because it was for drainage. So any ditching helps with the drainage. And we're also recommending borrowing 2 million to help cover some of the capital infrastructure costs. So the debt, as mentioned, for $2 million, we recommend borrowing over 15 years. For roads projects. So the 26 operating budget right now reflects payments of the 6 months instead of 12, which is more realistic because should we borrow, would not be till the latter half of the year. So this year, if approved, the principal payments this year would be about 49,000 and interest would be just under 41. And then for 2027 going forward, there will be 12 payments, monthly payments every year. Starting in 27, the principal payments would be a little under, 101,000, and interest would be approximately 78,000. So those were the changes that we have made to the budget. I have highlighted the areas in our notes where the changes were made as well, because we've explained them in the notes. Highlighted those just so council could see them. The changes in revenue are reflected in the on page 3, highlighted in yellow. And the changes to the debt and capital infrastructure are on page 28, also highlighted in yellow. The other line items remain the same. So that's a quick highlight of the differences between the first version and this revised draft version. So council wishes to go through
Well,
line by line, or?
we thank you very much. We appreciate the great overview and comment should be made about the WSIB. I think that's significant because I know a lot of municipalities are very challenged with WSIB. So I think it should be commended on the good job that staff has been doing and the health of our workforce. I think it's something that we need to celebrate and I for one I'm very appreciative of that, as I'm sure council and our public are. So I think perhaps if you're ready, we can do a line by line, page by page, if that's the process everybody's comfortable with. No objections, so I guess we'll start with page number 1. So does any member of council have any comments on page number 1?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Comments.
did your hand go up, councilor? Yeah?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Deputy Mayor Barr, no? Okay.
Yes, I do have a question on that page. Do we have any idea of the assessment growth that we'll be seeing? Yeah.
They suggested it was 1.47% assessment, that's all. Yeah, and actually, if I could explain just one more thing here, under the year-to-date for payments in lieu, it looks, well, it's 208,000, but that's actually not what it's going to be. It does get adjusted at year end, because this is, sitting in there and there still has to be allocations to education, stuff like that, so, that just every year at year end, that's a process. So the year to date is not going to end up at 208,000. It's going to end up a lot closer to 150 as it does every year.
Okay, the year to date, what is that till October as well?
No, this is right up to date, today.
Right up to present day?
Yeah,
Okay.
but Suzanne will do the journal entries at year end for the payments in lieu. It's gets confusing. We send them bills and they pay basically what they want to pay, so.
Okay. There you go. That's unfortunate. Go ahead.
How was the PIL amount set? Because I noticed it doesn't seem to be increasing the way other
It's
things
the annual
increase, right?
amounts we get, basically. It's fairly steady amount we get every year, so.
And it's
But-
the province sets that, it's not.
The province does?
We
Okay.
basically, the federal government and the province, as I said, unfortunately, don't often give us,
You'll see where they're associated with the Canada Post and
Yeah.
the LCDO and Via Real and Hydro, all provincially owned assets.
Do they think costs don't increase? Is that why?
Pretty sure Hydro knows how costs increase.
So just wanted to interject that because it does look, like it's really high, and why didn't we budget that? Well, because we're gonna lose a lot of that later and.
So you, 1.47%, that's the impact increase.
Assessment, yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Any other questions from members? None? Okay, so we're gonna move on to page number 2. Page number 2. Does any member have a question on page number 2? None? None? We'll move on to page number 3. Does any member have a question on 3? None?
Maybe,
Go ahead.
just a little, do we have a little more background on the transfer from the insurance and legal reserve? I don't think we've been putting anything into that reserve recently.
No, we
It's
haven't.
been sitting there for a long time, I assume.
Exactly, like we stopped doing that a few years ago, realizing that we aren't using it, so I recommended using it. Should council want us to use more, we're able to use more, because the last time I do believe we used that may have been back in 2018, 2019. So yeah, it's.
That's
yeah.
kind of what I'm getting at. Is there any risk that if some situation like that happened at the time comes up again, then we.
I mean, that's always a possibility, but over the last seven years, really, there hasn't been anything major. I mean, it's hard to predict, but I just don't see the benefit of having it sit there and not use it. We could recommend keeping a certain amount in there.
Yeah, I could see using our deductible is 10,000, is it not? So if we had enough in there to cover a few deductibles, I think it would be worthwhile. But, I mean, there's an overabundance of cash in there right now.
I mean, we could spread it over a couple of years instead of using it all this year, just for the next few to help offset the rising insurance costs.
Yeah.
So the main risk is the legal fees, then they wouldn't be covered by any kind of.
No, legal would be, if we did something that we shouldn't have done, for the most part, our legal fees are covered by our insurance. Unless we have done, yeah. If we haven't done due diligence, that's a whole other story.
If we've been purposeful and intent of doing harm, then
Yeah.
we could be in a position, but if we're doing our due diligence and acting in good faith, the insurance covers us. Talking about talking about reserves. Did we, if I missed it, I apologize, but did we receive a document? Because typically we receive a document with all the grant levels in it. Did I miss that for some reason?
You mean the balance?
The balance is all
Yeah.
the
No,
reserves?
we brought that, I think, in the past,
Yeah.
recently in the last month or two, but the balance hasn't changed to them right now.
Yeah,
It'd be the same as then, but I mean, I can circulate that should council wish.
it's just for knowledge for both council and a reminder, and it's just probably a good thing to have the public understand.
I know we've looked at
Some of
them
the
here,
balances.
especially the capital reserve. We've looked at those every day, all day long for a long time, but not the other ones so much. So this is an area that we could circulate that information to.
I can understand staff being a little bit hesitant on those. You
Yeah.
get to look at them daily, but
Yeah.
we get the opportunity
Yeah.
once a year, so
Yeah,
it's a little bit more exciting for us than it is for you. So hopefully you can live off of our excitement on
so
that.
what we can do with the reserve balances for the legal and insurance is maybe have a look at it and see what the 5-year forecast would be if we used some of it to offset the costs over the 5 years.
Yeah.
Every 5 years, for every year, we put a different
Yeah.
thing to balance if the insurance rates go up.
Mhm.
It's one way we can do it. Okay.
I think we understand that reserves are there to use.
Mhm.
So if there's an opportunity to use it, why would we not? And offset, and as long as we're keeping,
Yeah.
a focus on it is good, and,
Yeah.
having a document that lists all our reserves and the levels they are
Sure.
is a good thing for us to keep in the back of our mind as we're
Yeah.
discussing these documents. It would be appreciated. Thank you very much. So is there any other questions on 3? None? So we're gonna move on to number 4, please. Number 4, any comments or questions on page 4? None? Okay. Can we move on to page number 5, please? Okay, we're gonna move on to number 6. Does any member have a comment or question on 6? None? Okay, we can move on to number 7, please. Number 7. For you. None, so we'll move on to number 8. Let's review over number 8. Any comments or questions? No? Go ahead.
Admin salaries. I'm reading that right. Year to date, 426 to 589 budget, or I don't know what percentage that is higher than last year's budget. I haven't had a chance to calculate it, but is there a reason?
Yeah, it
For
reflects, it reflects our compensation budget. The comp review.
Yeah.
And we assume the 2% cost of living, and it also factors, merit increases for step increases for staff.
No additional headcount?
No, I don't believe so, not admin.
Okay,
Thank you.
We do have, like one of our girls is back from maternity leave as well, and she,
But that's not a new
no,
position.
it's not, yeah.
yeah, cause I did a quick calculation on it. If my calculations are right, that's a 8.9% increase.
I have a lot more.
Certainly go
When
ahead.
will we know? It just brings to mind actuals for 2025. When will we know that number?
For salaries,
Well, for the whole thing, but salaries brings it to mind.
well, not
It's quite a large
end of the
increase.
last pay period, so that would be early January. As for actuals for everything else, we cut off invoices at the end of February. Most of the January invoices coming in will pertain to 2025. We do get invoices in 26, we will be getting invoices for 2025 throughout January and February.
Is it possible to get a forecast?
For just the
Column.
salaries line item, not for
Actually,
the
for the
benefits.
whole, all the line items for the year end, because you can see how it's hard for us to look at those 3 numbers and say what's reasonable to approve for twenty
Just
twenty-six.
compensation or?
Well, no, it applies to many more
Yeah,
line
we
items,
have-
but this one highlights it, right?
We have actually attempted to do that when we've done the budget. We have looked at it and tried to project to the end of the year in our budget numbers. We took that into consideration when we worked on the budget.
So we're about 1 month out from,
Yeah,
these numbers are 1 month out from their end, but not all the costs are in, so it's actually about, as far as payroll goes, it should be pretty well accurate.
Yeah.
There's another pay period on
There's
Friday, 3 more pay
more.
periods.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's 3
Sure.
pay periods.
But it is important to show us both the forecast and then how much it will increase from the forecast. So we can see that number broken out.
This is the forecast.
Yeah, the budget is the
It
forecast,
is the forecast,
There's an increase in there as well.
the 2% increase.
depending on what line item it was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, well, that's specific to this line item, but if we. I was gonna say this at the end, process wise, that I think we need to see. The trend that we've asked for before previous years. So at least back to 2024, if not 2023, how things have changed for each line item.
We can do 2024 for sure, because we have the software now.
Yeah.
And then a column with the percentage change for the 2026 budget, so it's
But we are.
We can
under-
quickly go down the list and see which ones are the high percentages
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understand
But
what
we've
we,
had
what we need to
Cost
focus on.
increases in many areas since 2024 due to inflation beyond our control, so there will be a lot of changes probably over the years. That are
We can
not
find
within our-
2024.
Yeah.
We can find 2024 easily, I think.
So when did you say that the year end should be finally calculated? Was that mid-January? of
To the end of February, we would have the
Oh.
final costs for everything,
So end of February?
For invoices.
for invoices,
Yeah,
yeah.
payroll will be done.
Payroll will be done by then.
Yeah, but to the counselor's point, it could be relevant for us to understand it better, because like I said, my calculation is much higher than 2%. And it looks like a nine,
Oh, yes, our,
9.8%.
yes, our overall operating budget,
Yeah.
not just a 2%, it is definitely higher, but
Yeah,
that's because of some of the pressures we discussed at the last meeting and like the 11% leasing increase, if that's what it comes in at, that's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
Insurance is pretty high and that's coming in at
Yeah.
6%, so there's a lot of factors beyond our control, so.
there are some items in the budget, yes, that we have no control over, but there are some that we do. And I think if I understand the question correctly, you just want to see the differential on that, the ones that the entire increase on each line item, whether we control it or we don't control it. Is that what you wanted, or just the ones that we can control?
Everything. So if it's the policing line item, then we see the 11.1 right there. Boom. We don't have to manually calculate it, all of us separately, so.
Yeah, I'm running out of fingers and toes.
I think what we've done, anything that's significant, we've identified, like the insurance has increased 6%, like the higher items, but we can top it up. Okay.
Yeah, because if you go onto the bottom of page 8 and the first copy I got, it was all on the same page, but it goes over to the page 9. If you take a look at the final number on total compensation, my calculation was it was a 15% increase.
Yeah, so
So,
like I say, some of it, like benefit costs go up
Yeah.
every year. Most of the, well, EI, CPP, like there's 2 CPPs now. Once you hit a certain level, you also have to contribute more, which is also an expense for municipalities because we have to match that. So, yeah, Olmers, I think it's pretty much the same, but yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just appreciate that extra bit of knowledge. I think it would help. So when you're going back and forth, well, I know for myself, when I'm going back and forth, it's, if the numbers are already there, I don't have to continually scribble or recalculate.
I just may ask a little
Go ahead,
clarification right now. Right now, the first column, 2025 budget, is that what's projected for the actuals, or is that the budget that we passed last year?
No, that's the budget you passed last
Okay.
year. And in the middle column, 2025 year to date, those are the actuals. And our new software is wonderful. It exports our Microsoft exports right into our new financial software every night. So the numbers, you can print them, they're up to date,
Okay,
which is very handy. It's so much more time efficient than
Well, that's good.
updating our Excel spreadsheets every time.
Good to know. So any other questions, Counselor? Oh, no.
Nope.
Counselors, okay, so we're gonna move on to number 9, please. Number 9, any comments or questions on 9? Is that postage? Could I, out of curiosity, just understand the cost of postage?
What do you mean by the cost of? why
Well,
do-
because I know we don't send out a lot of extra documents.
Tax bills and water bills.
Tax, that's just tax bills and water bills, that's the cost
Well,
to
and
send it out.
accounts payable invoices
Yeah.
are checks, which we are repeatedly trying to get people to set up with EFT. And we
Yeah.
have managed to get quite a number of them, but these also will include any mail outs that we do, upon request. I'm not sure, do they do mail out for the
They're gonna be doing a mail.
remailing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that also drives up the cost of postage.
Yeah, because I know we
Yeah.
don't do a lot of
Yeah.
informational
Yeah.
mail outs, but
Yeah, and also the price increases every year as well, so.
yeah, I was just, I probably get surprised every year when I see that, and I just,
Yeah, it's not cheap anymore.
so,
And also there's the arrears notices every month as well.
Yeah.
For
so
taxes.
90% of this is administrative,
Yes, yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
the heavier the packet, the more you pay.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, just, so we have an understanding, because I mean, $12,000 budgeted, 10,478 year to date, and we're looking at. I noticed that we're looking at reducing it, that's a good thing, but 90% of that is administrative. Thank you for the clarification. So any other comments or questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go
Line 17-1250, the contracts for computers has
yes,
gone up
yep.
a large percentage.
It has, one is that because we've added extra staff, so there is a cost per staff to have your Microsoft licenses, for all of those, it's broken down, but also there's a large component we've had to, do cybersecurity now is very important. If we don't have adequate protection, under our contracts, then should we have cybersecurity breach, the insurance will not cover it. They pushed out some new products that we've all got the know before, emails and phishing tests and stuff we've had to do. It's a part of that cost as well. And like I say, if we don't do these, then we're required, when applying for cyber insurance. So that's a large reason that's driving it up is the increase in cyber crimes. So.
I just yes, please. I just get the sense that maybe our IT consultant is writing their own check without
No, they're
real
used
justification.
widely in the province of Ontario. Yeah, they're used by many municipalities. And their increases most years, as I say, are fairly reasonable. This is mainly due to cyber. And I say, also, we now have a full complement of staff, so there is a little bit more cost there, but.
Is it additional because of the e-scribe? All counselors have a laptop now too.
Well, yeah, that would be part of it as well, because you're paying to support that as well, so.
That's it.
The more computers you have, the more you're paying for. Yeah,
How many do we have this year?
I mean, sorry.
How many more computers do we have this year?
Well, couldn't guess off the top of my head right now, but probably, I don't know, 6, 7. We've got the council ones, we've had 2, yeah, probably 6 or 7.
So was the 2025 under budgeted then at 45 because
Probably.
council had its computers
Yeah.
then?
Likely, yeah.
And so your forecast for 2025 must be much higher than 45.
This is based on their actual numbers. They get together with us fairly early, like October, November, to go over their recommended budgets, and we follow their, their recommendations for the various security and stuff. Like I say, should we not, then if anything happens.
When was the last time we went to market for a consultant in this area?
Can't remember, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. There was only really 2 competitors, and the company that we're with right now had the best reviews out of the 2. So I think we're contracted with them too.
It's Onser?
Yeah, Onser, yeah.
And is there any wiggle room in this year? I mean, they're telling us we have to spend a certain amount of money on them.
Well, should we take the security measures out? But that's not recommended.
I just can't see how security measures, like what it exactly are these security measures that are costing so much?
With the various programs, the know before, I don't have the sheet with the breakdowns of it right here, but we've had to, basically increase it. Our data or whatever, some of the backup stuff like that, some of the equipment and stuff is outdated. They have to replace it with the newer modules.
I know that the know before works because I've had to do it twice.
So, go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, we've gone through this before. It was the same sort of thing. We ended up, when we got our new computers, we've gone through this before. It's not an expense we're going to drive back down. And the cybersecurity and protecting our data, like the cost increases. I mean, there's a cost increase.
And should we switch, there will be additional
Yeah.
costs for
We
onboarding.
did look at this
Yeah.
before, yeah.
A cost increase is not always a cost increase. We have the opportunity to go back to market, and I'll leave that with staff to think about. Is it time to go back to market? It's been 4 or 5 years and find out if we can get these services more cost effectively.
Yeah, we can try that. I mean, I'm all
No,
like,
it's,
yeah. we
think
could
to
do an
the-
effect for 27.
to both points at the table, I think we clearly understand it's a necessity, but looking at it, cost wise, and as that industry grows and, other opportunities become available, there may be an opportunity. So it may very well be that we have the best deal that we can possibly get.
Yeah.
But I think exploring the opportunity to see if there's another way may, add some benefit.
That
So
won't be in place in time for 26.
I think it's
Yeah,
just,
we would have
I
to
think
do
it's
that
just a
next
matter
year,
of,
yeah.
not asking about in place. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of, presenting perhaps at some time.
Yeah.
Some opportunities for, other providers to give us some estimates and.
Yeah.
I mean, when you said that a lot of municipalities use this
Yeah.
provider.
Yeah.
How many is that?
Yeah.
Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it
We'll do an
300?
additional breakdown of the invoice to
Yeah.
see what actually has increased, and we'll also get some other names that we can have a look at, so.
And it
I know,
might-
I remember doing this last year
Yeah.
too.
And it might be it might be an opportunity to reach out to other municipalities, because I'm sure they're in the same boat we are, and there might be an opportunity to get some cooperation and perhaps,
Yeah.
a better, package deal, if that is an option. I think, a conversation doesn't cost
Yeah.
anything. It may result in a positive, or we may be status quo. Go ahead, Counselor.
Okay, that's on to another portion on the page here. The impact lowering assessments, I'm assuming that means that, a couple of property owners reevaluated their assessments through impact and ended up getting lower assessment that we paid them back.
Unfortunately.
Any word, any rumors? I mean, politically, I haven't heard anything. Impact's still not,
Nope.
okay, all right.
Unfortunately not.
That was in reference to 17-12-62, Counselor? Is that
Yep.
what it was?
Assessment write-offs.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that province hasn't moved on that.
Yeah.
So if there's not any other questions, we'll move on to the next page, number 10, please. Comments or questions on 10? None? So could we move on to number 11, please? Any comments or questions on page 11? None? We're gonna move on to number 12 then. Number 12. I can start. Go ahead, Counselor.
Line 17-21-10 fire salaries has increased a huge amount. Could we have some explanation of that item, please?
I can start just by the one, there was a change in allocation, between the 25 budget and the 26 as to how much is charged to bylaw and how much is charged to fire. As Chief Cole is now, fire and bylaw, so that is one of the reasons, and I will let him speak to the other.
The others, I just wanted a really big raise.
There you go, Chief. Thanks for being honest. Appreciate that.
As noted here, we do have a lot of additional training under that new provincial mandate there, 343.2. Which brings all of our firefighters into compliance by January 1 of 26. So we've had increased training costs this year, and it's gonna trickle over to next year to complete everything. And we didn't have a choice, unfortunately, as if we wanted to have a fire service, we had to adhere to this. I know I did bring a report to council a couple of years ago, I believe, just kind of outlining this, but that's part of the cost, as well as we're looking in 26, we're seeing issues this year with weekend coverage and that kind of stuff. Being a volunteer service, we can't always expect everybody to be here all the time. And we are getting busier as a fire service. So we are looking at the potential of a bit of on-call weekend stuff under our policy that we have as well. Follow?
Yeah, the additional training that's required. So how many man hours would that amount to?
So it's different for each part of it. So they have to have firefighter 1, firefighter 2. They have to have hazmat training, their DZ license, pump operator certification for those who are going to run the trucks and pumps. So each one comes with a cost. I know we just put 3 through firefighter 1. It's been $1,500 just for the program, plus their mileage to get there. Plus the equipment on their back for them to be able to train, because they do live fire training as well, so they have to have all NFPA certified equipment to do it. We did borrow some, we did rent some, we did have to purchase some, unfortunately. Fire 2 is more expensive. It's it's around 2,000 to 2,500 a person. We're doing an in-house hazmat program, the end of, first 2 weeks of December here. It actually starts this Friday night. That one we're putting 10 through that, probably at a cost of close to $1,500 each. Then actually, as I brought a report to council too before, we're now a Red Cross partner. But all our firefighters have to go through first aid, CPR, first responder program. So a lot of the cost is reimbursement for them doing that. We pay them to come and do it because we're using up all their evenings and weekends to do that, plus the additional cost to teach it. Or source them out to have it taught.
And just for clarification, this is mostly driven by provincial standard changes through the
Correct.
fire,
All driven by that.
all driven by that.
Yeah, it's every fire service across the province is having to do this.
Go ahead.
I don't know how many letters we've received, seeking support to have the province waive these restrictions, regulations, but to know about it's the law.
Yeah. Do you have any other question, Councillor? Go ahead.
Did I hear the deadline was January 1st, 26?
July 1st.
July
1st, 26 for fire 1, fire 2, hazmat. And then 2028, January 1 of 28 is the deadline for all of these specialty disciplines. Now we're going to be looking to source some of those out, and that'll be a report coming to council. But just for example, ice water rescue, rope rescue, trench rescue, high angle rescue, all of those disciplines that are specialties, everybody either has to be certified by January 1, 2028, or you have to be into a contract with a neighboring municipality or somebody that can provide that service. With that said, we still have to have a minimum of awareness training in that to start the process until that contracted entity can come in and take over from us. So for any of like the ice water rescue and that stuff, we would have to do at least awareness and probably operations. That's still kind of being sorted out by the province right now, but at a bare minimum awareness for that discipline, and then we'll look. It's no surprise we're going to have to look to source out for these disciplines, because I know a couple of neighboring municipalities, and as well as ourselves, we've done some cost analysis, and just ice water rescue alone, we're probably around $100,000 a year just to maintain that certification to be able to provide that service.
Okay, thank you for that, Chief. And perhaps, I know in the past, for years, probably my 7th year now, always looking towards taking a look, and I call it an opportunity, to do a asset management of fire departments. So I know sometimes there's interest in that, sometimes there's not. But I think given the conversation we're having here and the understanding of pressures from the province, I think maybe there might be a value in doing a asset management assessment of the fire department to identify all these things so that we could get a standalone document focus on the fire department and the costs and how that relates to small rural communities and their small tax bases.
It'd be more like a master plan, not an asset
Yeah.
management.
And I know that through fire services, you can get that done. At one time it was free. I don't know if that's still available, but I mean, I think at some point we have to have something substantial in a document so that we can bring it to the attention of our MPPs to identify the pressures that we're going through. Because I mean, the conversation that you're bringing to the table today, I don't see any light at the end of that tunnel. Just given the challenges with all these new regulations, and all this training required, plus the specialized vehicles that are going to be needed and so on and so forth, then we're looking at something that is going to be a tremendous challenge. So I don't know if there's any value in putting, well, I see value, but I mean, when you have a document that's specific to a department, gives you a means of having conversation at the upper levels. And just like the OPP, when the cost started raising, you know, a lot of mayors brought it to the attention of the MPP, and the MPP, you know, for one time was able to assist us. But I think fire departments across Ontario should start to take a look at it, how we're going to approach this in a sort of a financial challenged way on getting the province interest on giving support monies to fire departments. Because what you're telling me, I see a lot of municipalities that are going to be up against the wall in this, and you know, we're not only going to put our firefighters at risk, but we're going to put the public at risk. If I understand the full scope of what you're trying to translate at the table here. So I don't know if that's something that you may want to do through the chiefs when you're talking with your other chiefs. Is it something that, you know, may have a relevance? But I think perhaps having conversation is not a bad thing.
Through you, so I know we have spoken to the chief's table, and there is a couple of departments this year that are undergoing a master fire plan. Municipality our size, they're between 50 and 60,000 for the consultant to do a master fire plan. I had that on my radar for 2027. I guess as we go through the budget, we'll see why we're a little more frugal this year and didn't include that, but, and then just to put council's mind at ease, we are, one of the, not gonna come in right, but we're one of the leading departments right now in the training. We're completed fire 1, we're completed fire 2, we'll be completed hazmat. So for our service, we'll be completed all of the mandated requirements by the deadline. So just so council at ease, we're not gonna have to take any services out or any issues like that. Everybody is gonna be fully compliant, so.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you for telling us that we're ahead of the curve on that. We appreciate it. And, you know, having a singular focus in each department is definitely proving to be a right step. So thank you for that. We appreciate your constant involvement in that and making things as best as we can possibly have them, giving our challenge as a small municipality.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
So anything else to add? Go ahead, Councilor.
Is there any way for the bottom line, the 254 2026 draft budget versus 186 last year's budget, is there any way of breaking that out so we can see? So right now, that's a 37% increase. It's very large, but I know it includes some of your salaries.
Can I interrupt? What line are you on?
Same page, right at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Total compensation for fire departments. So is that possible to get that? In a different, so that we can see how much things are going up based on.
Yeah, we could try without divulging personal information. Doing that though, we're also gonna have to pull bylaw input compensation because they both factor into this because of the salary splits, so. we would have to add that into the fire to get the true cost increase.
Okay, so then going forward. In future years, how often does that training need to be redone? Because we're increasing the budget this year for the extra training that's needed. Is that gonna be every year? I don't think it would be, right?
So through your worship, yes and no. Any new members we bring on going forward, recruitment, we'll have to put them through that training unless they've already gone to pre-service fire at one of the colleges. So going forward, if we by the year or something like that, we would have to put them through all of that required training. But we also have upgrade training as well as like we train every second Tuesday night, weekends and stuff, just to keep current on what they already have and hone the skills and practice the skills and that sort of stuff. The medical side of it, first aid, CPR, first responder, all that stuff's every 2 years, recertification. Fire 1 and 2 and hazmat, once you have them, you have them. Aside from we have to kind of continually hone those skills and train, but the actual full program is a one-time program.
Thank you.
Sorry, with the exception of the disciplines at the end, like the rope rescues and all those are an annual or a biannual recertification.
Okay, thanks.
So Chief, you said something that popped a question in my head, bringing on new firefighters. What is the complement that what's the number that we have to have? Is there a matrix there that indicates you need to have X or YZ? What is it?
So our establishing bylaws and our org chart shows that we have a complement of 30. That includes myself and down through the ranks. Right now, we sit at about 26 currently.
Yeah.
But the goal is to stay as close to that complement of 30, but we don't go over, but as close to that as possible, just with the availability of people. That's kind of what it comes down to. You aim for 30 in hopes that you get, half or a quarter of that for a fire or, an incident, depending on where they are, where they work, or that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
it kind of goes by, basically, it's not mandated by OFM, but the OFM kind of assists us in picking out the amount of staff we should have for our topography and our population. So we sit at about 30. Some of our neighboring departments like North Grenville, they're closer to 50. It just kind of goes by population.
It's not an arbitrary number, it's just a number that through the fire marshal's office, that's an indication of where you should be.
Yeah, it's not mandated, but it's kind of a recommendation through them that for this population and stuff, you should have roughly this many members, at any given time. In case of.
And how are the firefighters compensated? Is it just a monthly compensation, or is it just per call?
So they're compensated hourly, per call and training hours.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's an hourly rate.
So it's not just a given amount of money monthly, it's all based on presence. So
Correct.
presence at a fire, presence at any mandatory training,
Correct.
so on and so forth. Okay. And could we understand, or can I understand perhaps why sort of the scale back in the hours bylaw? Is that basically what this is indicating, is we're eliminating bylaw officers?
Well, no,
bylaw
it's
office
last, last year, I believe, there was a new position and we budgeted, I think it was a 50-50. We just split 50-50 in the budget. And this year, I believe it's 60-40, 60 allocated to fire and 40 allocated to bylaw to try and reflect the actual hours they're working for each.
So that's why there's some difference in the wages, because bylaw's gone down and fire's gone up.
Yeah, so can we understand why that is?
Use.
Yeah, well, just as I said, last year it was a new position, so we just split it 50-50, and this now split 60-40 is a truer reflection on the hours that the chief and Jenny spend working on fire versus working on bylaw.
Yeah, and I'm just asking because, you know, it was a conversation of council that we needed to start enforcing our bylaws. So, do better enforcement if you have more hours, right? And there's always infractions. I see it every day as well as everybody else. So scaling it back to me would be more,
Well, we can
More of a
keep this like
concern.
50-50 if council wants us to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna change the overall.
Yeah, reality is there's only so many hours.
yes, yeah, well, we understand. Yeah, we can't, unfortunately, we can't split the chief in half. We can't do that, but I mean, you know,
You could take about 20% of that.
you can all do that, but I mean, it's just, you know, because I think the idea of the bylaw. Part of it was also that, you know, that there was an opportunity to start showing the residents that we're serious about our bylaws and we were going to back them up. And it was also an opportunity to, recoup that through, you know, some cash.
Yeah,
So, as we all know, municipality need cash, so if we're scaling back the hours, we're scaling back the opportunity. And the enforcement on it, but I just wanted to know if there was a precise reason why. And if it's just a matter of fluctuating hours. Go
It
ahead,
really
Chief.
makes no difference in the bottom line as far as the budget is concerned, because it's apples and apples. Like the same wage for one as for the other, so
Yep.
at the bottom line, as far as operational costs goes, it's not gonna impact anything.
Nope, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I mean, it's just, to me, I'm concerned more about the hours. Spent actually enforcing the bylaws, because there are still, you know, there's still some work to be done. Go ahead, Chief.
I can attest to, I do hand out a lot of tickets,
Yeah.
and downstairs, we've got like a stack like that unpaid, which we're working on right now with the province to get
Yeah.
back into that provincial program, so
Yeah.
it's tagged to their license or whatever, but we do have a real issue with getting tickets paid in the municipality. It's not for lack of giving them out. But yeah, then we are enforcing a lot of the bylaws. It's just, I guess, a lot of it's kind of behind the scenes and people don't really see it unless they go on Facebook and make comments, which we've got a few. But I am definitely ticketing, but I think it is, I think 60-40 is of fair analysis of it, depending on the day. I mean, there is always those days where you'll spend almost the whole day doing bylaw. But then the other day, maybe just a little bit of bylaw, a lot of fire, it kind of ebbs and flows, and it is working quite well, I must say, but, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
just
get the tickets paid, we'd be rich.
my concern is not salary, it's more,
Yeah.
being front and center, right? And perhaps, Chief, you just mentioned about the concern about getting these tickets paid. Perhaps it might be something you may want to put into a document, make a presentation to council, and it gives council an opportunity to move it forward through the MPP. That, you know, we need some specific attention to this because we're having challenges collecting through that resource, and a documentation, a presentation, comment and support through council may, support through council will give us an opportunity to have a chat to the through the MPP.
We do.
And it may provide some assistance to.
And
Go ahead.
James been working on it since April.
Go ahead.
so does council want me to change the split back to 50-50? Is that council?
I was just making a question. I don't know if council has an appetite for that, whatever council decides to do, but I think maybe what we could do is just reserve the question until we get to the end of the budget and let people digest the comments and see what council's appetite is once we get there. Unless council wants to.
Are there timesheets that you can use
Well,
for allocation?
it really doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is, this is how much it costs, and where it's split up in the budget is not a thing.
Yeah.
But Brad knows where he spends his time through the day. And I don't know if you want to take the time to actually track each item that you do through the day, or maybe you do, I don't know.
Well, we do to an extent, but it is kind of hard sometimes because, you know, in 1 hour I might do like 2 fire things, 1 bylaw
Yeah.
thing, and the next hour it might be 2 bylaw things, one,
Yeah.
it all kind of depends on.
That's an estimate, right?
Yeah,
But he doesn't cap it, like, it's not like he's dividing it, whatever, 4-3, and okay, if he's hit 3 hours of bylaw, he's capping, he's moving on, he just,
No,
you
I
know,
just-
Just do the work.
does
No,
work as it comes
No,
up, yeah.
But that was my only concern, is that we're not losing the concentration on bylaws. So I mean, to me, it's irrelevant. The cost is the same, right? Your hourly rate is your hourly rate, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's not a concern. It was just, a lost focus, because there wasn't the opportunity and statement made by council and staff that we were going to be more proactive, and I just want, your assurance is good enough for me at this point, that, your concentration hasn't, migrated.
No, we're being very proactive, but just a lot of it's kind of behind the scenes, so.
Yeah, and then whatever council decides it wants to do, then here's the opportunity to speak, so. If there's no further questions, I think we can move on to page 13. Yes, good, okay. Page 13, comments or questions on 13, please? None? Okay, so could we move on to 14, please? 14. Going once, going twice, no comments, okay, could we move on to 15, please? 15,
I have one.
go ahead, Counselor.
Leasing number. Is that our internal forecast, the 509, versus an actual letter from the OPPC?
No, actually, we have not received a letter yet, but they did release press release in the news saying that they would cap all increases at 11%. Doesn't mean everybody's is gonna go up by 11, but they're gonna cap it at 11. So unfortunately, we don't know. Darlene has reached out to them to try and find out when they're gonna release these numbers. So we just, estimated worst
This is the
case
worst.
scenario
Worst
that it
case
was gonna go up. It'd be great if it went down, but, we've got nothing from them, unfortunately. Other than that, province-wide press release.
Yeah. And what was just yesterday, was it yesterday? No, last week, one day I reached.
Yeah, it was,
A bit of sonogram.
it was funny. Got the point across.
Okay, so that was that. Okay, I think I'm trying to match my first revision with my second
Yeah, yeah.
revision. It's not.
It's an improvement.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, I do believe the only revisions we did were highlighted in yellow.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
comments, so yes.
In correspondence with the pages.
That's
Some of the
okay.
pages are off a bit, but anyway. I do have one question and perhaps staff could, give me their take on this. The, total fire department, we have 366,892 for the budget of 2025, 340 to date, 687. And the projections are for the revised draft budget for 26 is 445, 404. With an increase of $78,512. Which is about a 21% increase, which equals to about a 2% tax increase, if my numbers are correct, and please don't hold me to my numbers. Could we have an explanation on that? And that's all with 17,216, 2168, page 15. I've got page 14 as well.
That's part of the salary. That's the 10% difference in the salary increase for the fire too is factored into that bottom line.
Okay, this was all vehicles.
Oh,
This was all under vehicles.
oh,
No, that's,
No, the vehicles have only gone up 1,000
Yeah.
overall in the budget from last year.
this is total fire.
That's total fire.
Oh, that's total fire. That's the total.
Yeah.
That's.
The whole
Double-
package.
Actually, fire, yeah,
Whole enchilada.
Yeah.
My apologies.
yes, oh, it's okay.
My apologies, the whole enchilada, okay. Well then, thank you very much for that quick explanation. And, getting me back on the right path. So the 11% increase was asked. And we still haven't got final numbers on that?
no.
Keep hoping every day, but keep checking my emails, there's nothing there.
I was thinking that at some point we did get final numbers, but
No,
I get so much stuff like.
Trust me, we have, yeah, I'd be all over the.
So, yeah, so have we had the opportunity, has staff had the opportunity to reach out to the MPP? Like we did last year to reiterate our concern with a large increase?
We-
I mean,
can-
last year, I know we did it through the mayors,
Yeah,
through United Counties, but I mean, have we done it as a municipality?
I'll do it tomorrow.
Because I'm sure once I get to county council, we start talking about budgets, there'll be that conversation, so.
Mhm.
I mean, the more voices, the better, and perhaps, you know, we may get the same result as we got last year, or we may.
Okay.
Get the simple explanation, it is what it is, and.
Yeah.
Move on.
I honestly don't think they know. I really don't think they know.
Well, I think it's challenging.
Yeah.
Because I know there's so much demand for service and there's.
There's so much growth
Yeah.
that every
Yeah.
time you grow, it's an extra $320,000
Mhm.
on a household. They don't
Yeah.
know whether they're coming or going.
Yeah,
Okay, seriously.
I think, yeah, I think maybe we'll reserve that comment, but, I think what we need to do is,
That one.
what we need to do is just. It might be an opportunity for staff to send
Yeah, sure, I'll send them an
a
email.
letter and just say that, you know, last year. We appreciated your assistance and we're looking for an explanation and perhaps. You know, a better outcome.
Okay, I will do that tomorrow.
If that's something that everyone on council's. Happy with a staff doing, I think that's the best way to approach it at this moment in time. So if there's no further comment, could we move on to 16, please?
Here's the reflection of the lower bylaw compensation. This is where it's reflected as a difference there.
That's 172710, is
Yeah.
that the one you're referring
Yeah.
to? Only then. So no questions on 16, council? No? No. So we'll move on to 17, please. Okay, so shall we move on to 18 if there's no comments or questions? Okay. So we're moving on to 18. After going through the document. I kept seeing year to date and what month, but that's been clarified at the beginning, so I'll just scratch that question off. Did any other comments or questions from members? Go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, total compensation. Which is near the bottom.
Which one are you, what line are you referring to, Counselor?
Well, it doesn't, oh,
Page and,
well, it's page 18.
okay,
Top of the page.
total compensation number top, is that what you're referring to?
I think it's actually page
It's-
19 if you're on the computer.
It's bumped down now to
Okay.
top of page 19 is total compensation.
Okay,
Yeah, I can speak to that. Now that we've got our new, budgeting software in the salary module, we can allocate staff's time directly into it. So we've got another staff member, in Public Works who assists in the building department sometimes. So part of her salary is now charged to the building department. Prior to that, what we had to do was do a journal entry, like the staff time recoverable, which we no longer need to do. So that amount is just simply reflected into our, budgeting software, which allows us to allocate it right there. It's much easier.
mhm. Okay. Follow-up question, Counselor, or are we moving on?
Let me, so what percentage of time for that staff member is being transferred?
30.
30%.
Yeah.
We're talking their building, we're talking building.
Yeah.
And that's an admin person,
Yeah, it's
Assisting.
Public Works 70%, building 30%, the salary is split. So I mean, overall, it doesn't impact that compensation. It's just the times allocated to the building salary line item now.
Okay.
And not down below to the staff time recoverable, which is how we used to have to do it.
okay. Any other questions? Go ahead.
When I look at the year-to-date total compensation of 710, it just seems like a stretch to get even to the budgeted number for 2025, let alone needing to increase.
Well, not if we're on the right, I don't think we're on the right side. So no, I don't know, we're not talking apples to apples. So,
Okay, what are you referring to, Counselor?
Well, in the old version, it's where my notes are, it's the bottom of 18 or the top of 19 in the new handout.
what's the line item?
So it's changed. It's now 775 for year to date.
Oh, under total compensation? Is that what you're talking?
Compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 902, 549 down to 775, 686. And the 963.
But that's public works, actually, we've skipped a page, I do believe. I think
I don't
public
think it
works.
was right,
Well,
yeah.
I think we're still on that public works page. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
No, we were discussing building.
Yeah, we were discussing building. You guys were discussing public works. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we've just jumped ahead, we were explaining the building compensation.
okay.
If we're done with that, we can move on. to
No, we're
public
still
works.
we're still on public works. I think the question was, in regards to public works, was it not?
It was.
Okay, well, that's because we now have a full complement in the public works department. I believe we have now filled the spaces. We had 2 or 3 equipment operators positions, which had gone unfilled for quite some time. So, that would be the most of the reason for the increase right there, or something now that it's properly staffed as per the org, the org chart.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions from members? No, I have one. Can we, it says it's 173112 street overtime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Could we, I think I know what the answer is, but could we have an explanation on what that is?
So that's for the winter snow plowing, generally speaking, and all the snowstorms and the ice rain, and that's basically where most of the overtime, some of the overtime hours are attributed to weekend events when they require public works staff to go out to do various things, but most of it is because of the snow.
Well, call outs for snowstorms.
Yeah.
I knew that. I just wanted to hear it. Okay, so if there's no other comments or questions on 18, could we please move to 19? And that would be the administration part, traffic operations, roadside maintenance. Any comments or questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Counselor.
173158, which is streets insurance. The comment is it's increased by 6%. But that's been the theme ever since this term of council started. It's been large increases every year for insurance. So
That's correct.
do we have any idea from the insurance company? Are we being assessed extra levies because of roads and
No, this
infrastructure?
is a province-wide increase, generally, most of the,
Sorry, I
generally
said-
province-wide, most of the other municipalities, we've had email chains go around, they're all facing basically the same increases from their insurance companies.
It's the,
So did you finish your question, actually?
Yeah, good
yeah,
enough.
it's a large, it's a pool. Yeah, and the insurance companies base the claims on a large pool and it just trickles down
And,
to,
and the
to get what you get.
6% increase, I actually based it on the year-to-date, the actual amounts of insurance, not the budgeted amount, because, as we get, equipment or sometimes added extra, our insurance costs go up a little bit, so I based it on the actual numbers for more accuracy.
So are you saying that it's driven province-wide by more claims?
Rates. Mhm.
More claims, and it has absolutely nothing to do with
Nothing.
state of infrastructure or anything?
Nothing.
No, okay. I think that was the question.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
We've tried to approach them to see if we could get a reduced rate because we now have the shuttle accreditation, but that doesn't work for the municipality. It works for the ratepayers.
Yeah.
So, it's a nice service to have, but it doesn't help our insurance rates.
No.
But it helps the others. So it's all good, but it just doesn't trickle down to us.
Yeah, it's just an understanding that's, more claims across the province
Yeah.
creates more cost. So something that we don't really have control over. Well,
No,
keeping it, even if we kept our things in prime shape, it's still reflective of.
it's similar to
What's
car
happening.
insurance, right? It's
Yes,
driven
right.
by a lot of external factors and, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Any other comments?
Just wanted to ask about 31, 36 is the ditching budget has gone up quite a bit, and compared to year to date, it's way higher, so.
I'll defer to Chad.
So, in the capital projects that are forthcoming, there's some work planned for the ditching and brushing. This 40,000 is allocated for other various roads. It's a best guesstimation based on the ditching that happened this year, which is portions of Bolton and Pioneer. So the whole goal with this is to improve the drainage and the trees that overhang in the spring for the conditions of roads. So again, it's best guess, and obviously including more areas or more linear meters of ditching and brushing in 2026.
Right. Thank you.
So is that, if I may, so you mentioned capital budget, should that not be put into the capital budget as a new request rather than operation? Because my understanding operational is what we've always done is.
Correct. So this is standalone operational in the budget, or sorry, in the capital budgets. The projects are going to be outlined. So basically like a full reconstruction. So the ditching and brushing and earth clean out reconstruction is all encompassed into those capital projects.
They can be tied directly back to that particular project, so they're identified as a capital for that project. This is just an ongoing
Maintenance
spot
road.
maintenance for roads that are in need of it.
To improve them, I believe.
Okay, so, and my question and concern is that if it's in the operational budget, does that increase reflect in the operational budget when it should be identified in the capital budget?
They're everywhere. It's included everywhere.
It's both.
Yeah,
So
it's both.
just for clarity, so the roads that are kind of anticipated under this are exclusive to the capital projects. So they're separate. We're not accounting for the same road twice.
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
I was just concerned if it's built into the operational budget, there's gonna be,
There's lots more.
there's costs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as I went through this portion of the budget, I noticed other things that perhaps should be identified in a capital portion of the budget rather than the operational,
Mhm.
because those amounts of money will drive the increase in the operational part. That's what I was concerned about. How does that reflect? Because if you're
Yeah.
building those
yeah.
monies into operational, does that,
I don't know a lot about public works, but I think the idea is if we can increase the budgets for ditching and roadside brushing, it would help maintain the infrastructure in its
Yeah.
current state.
that's
rather
not
than-
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not, I've been after ditching and brushing for since I was that high, but that wasn't my concern. My concern is that we're identifying it in the operational portion.
Yeah.
And when you put large amount of monies in an operational, it drives the increase to that specific part of the budget. Should those things that are identified as new wants and needs for projects, should they not be in the capital? Because that would drive the capital budget
Yeah,
Well,
cost
it's ongoing.
percentage.
I think that's our thought process is.
Because I mean, I
going
think it should be
forward.
separated.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
Operational should be operational, capital
Yeah.
should be capital, admin should be admin, fire is
Yeah, for sure. I
fire, you know.
think the general idea though is going forward, this would just help maintain the roads. It's not to improve them, which per se goes in the
Yes.
capital, but yeah.
Not questioning that at all.
Yeah.
It's not
I can
that.
kind of interject though. I think what I'm hearing is that we did do that. So this is operational, such as like just maintaining some of the roads, just cleaning out the ditches. And then the capital projects that would encompass the reconstruction, like the whole package that would include some of the ditching and brushing of these. Specific roads that would be outlined in capital delivery.
So I think you just clarified it because you're saying it's standard operational
Yeah.
to maintain the roads, the ditches and the brushing is a operational
Yes.
process. But when you referred to the capital, that's where I got confused. So thank you for the clarification. Go ahead.
So I'll maybe hopefully clarify things or make it worse, one or the other.
Well,
We've got nothing but time. Well, I think the number we see here on this line item in particular should represent what we expect to spend going forward for many years,
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
But is that the case, or is it just like, I'm hearing it might be just a one-time thing, every 10 years those roads would need that extra work, and it needs that right now because we're doing the roads work, so. Is that, I'm worried about things ratcheting up, in other words, where you put something in the budget, which is more of a one-time thing, but then we lose sight of why we put it at that number, and it keeps ratcheting up, you know what I mean? So that ties also back to having more previous years of the budget here, so we can see.
I don't think you'll find there was much pen ditching before.
I was just gonna say, there's the flip side of that is all the years this line has been missing.
Yeah.
This amount, and that's what has got our infrastructure in the state that it's in right now. So I think it is important to make sure going forward, we always have the right amount in there to maintain what we have, because that's not just the gravel roads we're looking at, that's the ones that are already hard surfaced and tar and chip. They need to be ditched, and they need to be, have brushing done too on an ongoing basis. So I think we haven't had enough in that portion since the beginning of time.
When we look at capital, I think we look at projects. This is an ongoing maintenance issue that we have been not addressing, as we could have addressed it. So if we put that line, maybe 40 is too high. So next year, if we haven't done the 40, then we drop it. But for the ongoing capital projects, I think it's important to have them be standalone projects that we can tie back to all the costs to those projects, because they're the ones we have to report on. These are routine maintenance.
Yeah.
That we need
Yeah.
to do.
I think both of you guys are right, you know, and it is, you know, you don't want to continually add new items or new jobs and then keep ratcheting that up, because it starts to become quite challenging financially. But to Councillor Maitland's point, yes, this is standard operational work that needs to be done on a weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly basis. Ditching is important.
Pitching is important.
So, and it was just my concern is if we were tying that into the capital portion of it, should it be capital? But if it's going to be operational, daily, monthly, whatever the cycle needs to be to maintain the ditches properly. You know, I understand that.
No two ditches are the same. They're all different.
Yeah, sorry, Councillor, for jumping in, but go ahead.
No, that's true.
It's just,
But
yeah,
maybe back to what CIO Plumley said, maybe 30,000 is the right number going forward. We just don't know what to approve right now because we've got special operations happening. So we don't want to lose the corporate memory of why we put it at 40,000 this year. Next year, when we're looking at it, we might not need so much, or maybe.
With our new program, can we flag the item to be considered, or when we look at next year?
We can add a note to it.
Yeah, and we can build out the budget, so we can, our plan is to provide you a forecast over the next 5 years. So we can build it out, however, we can put those numbers in there automatically that show up, and if, at the year end, if it's out of whack, year to date, then we can.
And staff has the ability now to actually add notes to each line item, so I don't, maybe you've already added it into that, but Mr. King has the ability to go right in and write his own note saying, this is why we've done that, and then you've got that historical data, it will be there.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
so I'm gonna step back a bit into the conversation. We'll talk with the chief documenting his time. So in my previous life, every job I did had a number assigned to it. So if I was rebuilding a brake system, or I was assisting a mechanic in installation of an engine, or I was sweeping the floor, or doing just general housekeeping, or towing, or bus changing, or whatever. Everything had a number, and I had to identify what I did. So from 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock, I did this. From 8 to 8:45, I did this. And it was all frustrating to keep track of what you did every day, right? But it was all intended to identify the jobs necessary to run a large organization and its reflection on the budget.
Yeah.
So to all the points at the table, the better we understand the time and energy needed to maintain the roads, ditches, brushing, and so on and so forth, the better idea we have of true actual costs.
I don't
So,
think you're doing
you know, I don't know if that's something that
Yeah.
we do
that.
here. I know when I used to work here, we used to just fill in for an 8-hour shift and that was it.
Those
But I
days are
mean, that
gone.
doesn't really tell you what I did all day,
No.
right? It says I was here from this time to this time and I went home
Yeah.
and that was it. But I mean, a little bit more precise accounting of what we're doing would assist.
We have, those
us.
are operational activities that we do daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's, you know, and in some jobs, it's easy to track and some jobs it's not easy to track, but public works and so on and so forth. When there's specific, when there's weed whacking, grass cutting, there's, you know, cleaning, you know, ditching, hauling gravel, doing this. I mean, all that stuff is easy to track. And then we understand at the end of the year, we spent X amount of time doing this and this is what the cost was. So we understand that cost. So council asks a question, why are we spending $100,000 on grass cutting? Well, because this is what we've done, right? And here's the numbers. So it's just a little less or more understandable for us and the public. Appreciate it. Thank you. So if there's no other comments or concerns or questions, we're gonna move on to 20, please. Go ahead, Councilor.
173168 roadside spraying, it was, under budget by quite a bit. And does that have to do with partnering with the counties and just doing targeted areas?
So yes, it was a combined tender with all the surrounding municipalities, so I think that added to the better linear cost. And it was just spot spraying in some areas.
And that's the plan for next year.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Obviously the different roads, but kind of trying to go on a 2 to 3 year cycle.
Yep.
I have a question for 173157 salt and sand.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I see that we didn't spend anywhere near that much, and I wonder if that might be a spot where we could reduce the budget for 2026 unless there's more information available. And then my other question is, are we able to take advantage of cost sharing through the county? I believe we've been able to do that in the past.
I'm not sure if we've received all the invoices this year yet for the sand and salt. That's a possibility of why it's.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yes,
okay.
I can add some more to that as well. So yes, there typically is a joint tender with the county, and that I mean, I think from the beginning of time, the chief was under this, that to get the best bang for the buck or the best unit cost. So that has happened and continues to happen. There is sand in the dome right now, but I'm not gonna say it needs to be or will be filled up again by the year end, but there will be more material brought in. So that's why I'm suggesting it probably will be under budget. If it boils down to it, I guess that could be one of the line items to kind of narrow in on to shave it down to assist with the overall cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I would caution to take 30 grand off, basically, to not do that, because there's still gonna be invoices or material that needs to go into that dome for the upcoming winter season in 2025.
Right, thank you, I understand. Appreciate the comment.
So if I may just add on to the comment that Mr. Keene just made. So Mr. Keene, would you feel confident, since we budgeted 75,750 in 2025 and we're presently at 43,014, and I realize there's some more costs coming in for that, would you be comfortable in saying that we could probably roll that back to $60,000 for 2026 and still be quite comfortable, considering we have left over from the previous year to manage the upcoming year? So it's not a significant decrease, but it is a bit of a decrease.
What's an average invoice that we receive for salt? We can look back and see what the last invoice was. And then we have that data for to plunk in there.
We don't need the,
Mhm.
we don't need the. You don't have the answer now, we don't need it now, but I mean, we could probably bring that answer back.
My recommendation would be to no, to not drop that down, to still maintain the 77,000. That's just, it's such a, subjective number. We don't, it's all based on weather, right?
Yeah.
Freezing rain, the amount of snow, the salt, there's a difference between obviously the sand and the salt and the sweet mix. So the recommendation would still to keep that 77,000. I think if there was savings, then at least whatever that difference was, can be a buffer in some of these other line items at the end of the year.
And I assume you came to that number, that's just sort of the usage per tonnage you use every year, and
That's right.
multiply that by the price, and it came out 77 instead of 75 this year.
That's right. Correct.
Okay, so I have a similar question with coal patching. $10,000 worth of coal patching. And we're increasing it by 200. We only use year to date 4382. What does $10,000 translate into tonnage? Do we know what the tonnage cost for coal patches?
Top of my head, no, but I can get invoices until we get billed for it.
Cause I was just taking a rough estimate and my calculations, and I'm not sure if they're correct, but that would probably be well over a triaxle worth of coal patch, which is quite a bit, but I'm gonna stop speaking and wait for you to bring back the information, but I just, it's to me, it's a lot of coal patch. And having an extensive history with coal patching, working for the Ministry of Transportation,
Yeah.
coal patching is just considered not a good use of time, because when you put the coal patch in, 65 or 70% of it's gone within a couple of days. So, I understand that there are some roads that need a little bit of attention, but I mean, that's a lot of money to be throwing into the ditch. So I appreciate you bringing back some information on that, please. So if there's no further questions, we can move on to 21, please. Any questions on 21?
Yes.
Go ahead, Council.
3179, the gravel has gone down, and a little worried that we'll won't have enough gravel. So can you give us the thought process of why it's reducing?
So this one, great question, completely fair. So the 20,000 was similar to earlier this year when we brought a report to council, basically as a gravel patch. So this equates to a kilometer of road, 6 meters wide, 4-inch gravel thick. So it's more of a emergency fund. The actual gravel part is in the capital projects, which I don't know if we have the final numbers, 300 and some thousand, but that's going to be brought to the capital component for re-graveling roads.
Yeah, that was recommended, I believe, by the gravel road needs study, right, the cycle every 3
Yes.
years or something, yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I guess what, in a nutshell, this gravel is not maintenance gravel, let's say. Like the 20,000 is not expected to, just skim coat several roads and say they're re-gravel.
This is sort of your rescue plan of the merge when that road really falls apart.
That's right, exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, I'm happy for that clarification, because I had a concern with that as well. Because it was identified in our gravel road needs study and with Boston Associates that we have severely underfunded our maintenance of gravel, which was supposed to be every 2 to 3 year cycle, at about 230 to 235,000 a year. So I thought 20,000 was challenging, and that's just to maintain the road, that expense. So happy to hear it's for emergencies. So I appreciate that. So that alleviates a whole bunch of questions I had. So
From the operating, wait till we get to the capital.
yeah, well, yeah, yes. Well, there you go. So thank you for that. So this is emergency. Okay. No other questions or comments? Can we move on to 22, please? Any comments or questions on 22? If not, we'll move to 23. Thank you. Getting to 23. Full recycling.
You'll notice there's a loss of revenue on the recycling. Thanks to the provincial. There we go again.
Which one are you referring to? Which
Line,
line?
174452 recycling curbside.
Yeah,
There's no longer revenue.
so that 20,000 is a loss?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sorry, could you just say that again? The 4452, the 19,000 is no longer an expense because the CM process is going to cover all of the expenses and take all of the revenue?
All the revenue, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we no longer have a recycling expense to incur.
no.
Okay.
Or of it received.
So, yeah, so it's not a loss. We just no longer have to budget for it.
Yeah.
Which is good. Okay, so if there's no questions on 23, we can move to 24. And on 174450, if there's no questions from other members, I'd like to ask a question on that. And it's the recycling blue box. So back to the comment that the CO just made and the commentary by the deputy mayor. Since we're no longer responsible and we're looking at the opportunity in expanding our service, and the province is assuming the cost of that, was that cost removed when we got the new estimate on service delivery, or did they just take what we were traditionally being charged in the village and applied it to the new numbers for the expanded service? Did they remove that $30,000 out? Or $20,000 out of the contract? Because
From the 4450 line item, the curbside.
174454
Correct.
line item.
So the recycling is all circular materials, or it will be.
Yeah, but I know the province is now assuming that responsibility, right?
Yes.
And then we're looking at the Emterra tenders at 130,245. Was that is that estimate including the old estimate we had for the village, which just moved over and the new portion of the service delivery was added on, or did they subtract that blue box
So I think
cost and gave us a brand new costing for the garbage pickup?
so. It's a brand new costing for just waste. They calculated it on their own.
Okay,
It does not include anything, previous numbers. They basically, well, not through the municipality, would have access to what that number was, the blue box component.
because I mean,
So
we,
this is all just waste for the curbside.
yeah, because we have identified a cost, what it was costing us in the village with the old provider. And that included the blue box, so I was just, when I was doing the calculations, I was unsure whether they had removed that blue box out, because essentially they would be getting, if they had not, they'd be getting paid twice,
That's right. So,
right?
so I developed that tender and it did not include any recycling, understanding that it would all be from the province, January 1st, 2026.
I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, so 24, any other questions for 24?
I'd like to comment on the planning. We are not sure what the new planning will shake out to be. I know we had a discussion last week with the planner, and there'll be a lot of upfront work because there's a lot of catch up to be, a lot of transfer of information. whether it exceeds the amount we have budgeted is just a unknown. So these are estimates for the plan. We don't know, but it's cost recovery to a lot of it, so.
Yeah. So, is there any questions? No, I have a question. I just, when we were looking at, moving in a different direction, council had a bit of a conversation where there was an opportunity perhaps. I know with our previous provider, they used to be in office every Wednesday. Is that a necessity to have the consultant planner sit in the office every Wednesday, or is it? Because I know staff was utilized at certain points with the old provider. Would it be more cost effective if we looked at initial intake through staff and having the consultant come in when there was only a demand for the consultant?
We've talked about this. There's also a Zoom, the ability to meet with clients on
Yes.
Zoom, and that's what we spoke of. I would prefer to have the direct contact with the planner when it's a planned question, but they have the abilities to work through Zoom or set up appointments that way.
Yeah, and I think it'd be more cost effective, engaging with clients, and it would be,
Yep.
better, more cost effective for us as well, and
Yep.
but staff has already
We've
looked
already
into that
done that,
opportunity. So at some point, will you bring a document to council explaining sort of the new
Yep.
approach?
We had a good conversation on Wednesday, with what the plan is going forward and, how much staff time is involved. So I think right now it is gonna be top heavy because of all the file transfer of knowledge. So once we get probably into the new year, we'll have a better routine set up to have the consultations. So, if you can grant me a little leeway there until she gets organized and
Yeah.
has the information. But once she's in place, yes, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna need to take the time we need to take
Yeah.
to make sure that we're going, but I mean, if the objective is to still engage with the clientele or our residents, but we do it in a more cost effective way, because I think, sometimes the costs are a little challenging at some
We had a
times.
frank discussion on Wednesday.
I appreciate, staff looking into that. Thank you. So if there's no other comments or questions on 24, could we move on to 25, please?
If you'll note on 177249, you'll see that there was a one-time expense of $14,000 that has been now dropped down to 2040. So we do monitor what the projects have been, and we don't just kind of rubber stamp it to the next level. We do look.
Great, thank you. That's good. We appreciate that. You're referring to 7249?
Yes.
Could you educate me on what does MKV mean?
Merrickville.
Merrickville, Merrickville, just Merrickville.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it's such a long line item otherwise, so.
if it would have been an MW, I would
We
have
only have so
understood
many
it.
characters in
Fairground,
the name.
when somebody went through the fence over here.
Yes, well, I was looking at the fence repair stuff and I was thinking, but what the heck is MKV? I spent 20 minutes trying to figure that out, and then I gave up.
That's where time trackers would come in, man.
If I had to fill out a timesheet, that would be a very high expense on a budget, I'll tell you. But anyway. Okay, so I guess if on 25. I do have a question on 25, but it's now on 26. And I believe that is line 7251. Where is it here? Did I miss it?
That's the new double door, yeah.
Is that, I can't
Hall
find it now.
maintenance, yeah, Fair Center hall maintenance.
I'm trying to find it here.
You had mentioned that
25.
earlier, that's.
Oh, yeah, 251.
Should that be part of the capital project?
Yeah, that was one of the items I was referring to earlier. I mean, new double doors and miscellaneous expenses for reno. I mean, the door itself, should that not be identified as a capital project rather than
We can move it
Because
over.
we're
to
not-
capital.
we're not maintaining the door, we're actually installing a new door.
Should that not be capital?
Could be,
Okay,
yeah.
move over, okay.
So leave it at the 45 then from last year, is that
Yeah.
the recommendation?
Well, yeah, I'm not really concerned at the cost at the moment, but I think identifying it as a capital project and we can discuss it further as a capital project.
And then to still maintain, as Kirsten saying, like 4,500 in the 20, in this.
For maintenance,
Maintenance,
for maintenance,
yeah,
yes.
and then we'll price out then.
The difference.
Yeah.
The difference,
Remove
not the whole 10.
Remove
just
the
the
door.
Yeah.
From it, and then we have an idea of the maintenance, yeah, you know, we need to continue to maintain the hall.
Mhm.
Okay, so 26.
Page 26.
We're on page 26 still, yeah?
Oh, I have one.
Go ahead, Counselor.
8241, which is a cenotaph. I think it's a similar situation. The description is new electrical work from pole to cenotaph for power and lights. So to me, that's capital as well.
Yeah, if we're,
Yes, okay, correct.
yeah,
I think it's, I'm glad you brought that up too. This isn't it was a request from, yeah. Residents, associations to to have a better power source there for power and lights. This is obviously an estimation. That's significant. But I agree, yeah. We should put that, that's my ear.
And just to clarify, we have a choice of whether to do that. There's nothing driving it.
Correct. It's not like a mandated, mandatory thing from province or anything, no.
We probably won't turn it down on under capital, but I think that's the right place for it.
so we're removing that to capital. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I have one on 7274, the Smith Falls Recreation Agreement. In the past, we were hoping that we would have some kind of presence on a board or a committee that could provide guidance to that, to the use of the facility. Have we had any movement on that?
No, Deputy, we have not. The CNO and I were involved in some initial conversation, but we haven't heard anything. There was a presentation of what they were looking at. They didn't have anything solidified, and there was supposed to be a reconvening for further conversation. And we haven't seen that, so there's been no discussions, no asks, no nothing. We're unsure what Smith Falls is doing, so.
I think it would be worth our while to take a look at the agreement and see what the end date might be, and
Okay.
what kind of input we can have. And as always, I ask, how many of our residents make use of the facility in Smith Falls? I know it's a difficult question to answer, but I think it still needs to be asked.
I can follow up with it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna
Thank you.
provide thank you. Okay, so any other comments or questions on 26? If none, we're gonna move on to number 27, please. Comments or questions from members?
Yes.
Go ahead, Counselor.
7552 Museum Special Projects, 5,000 for a new initiative, planning on fundraising to raise revenue. We have a little more detail on that one.
That was the request I got from the museum board, so I don't have any of the in-depth details because I'm not on the museum board, but perhaps Councillor Deputy Mayor Barr could speak to that.
I can also suggest that there are 5,000 in the revenue to offset that in another line item.
Oh, is it?
So yeah,
Oh,
it
perfect.
just doesn't show.
Thank you.
Yes, so the museum board is getting ready for about 5 years worth of celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Rideau Canal, because of course it started in 1 year and it took 5 years to build. So they are focusing on some new and different and quite frankly, some pretty interesting and exciting stuff. They recognize that they need to put their oar in the water as well and do some fundraising to help pay for these. And they have some thoughts in a presentation. If council would like to see that, I could make arrangements to have them be a delegation.
I think that might be relevant for that to happen, Deputy Mayor. And the reason why I'm saying that is I was at the Economic Summit in Kempville a week and a half ago or so, and Parks Canada had made a launch presentation on a celebration that you're talking about and how they're going to roll it out. And it's going to be a time-consuming celebration. So they're looking at all possibilities on how we are going to bring focus on the Rideau Canal and the celebrations through the smaller communities and along it. So I think it would be nice to have that delegation before council, so we understand exactly what the plan is, and then we can figure out how that's going to incorporate into the bigger project that Parks Canada is referring to. Thank you.
So to the CAO, is that something you'll request of them, or are you looking for me to do that?
When do you have your next board meeting?
In a week and a half, I think. My brain's a little fuggy.
What we can do is bring it up at the next board meeting and they can determine which date would work best for them, and we can arrange it with the clerk.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I will put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
And then I think the same conversation applies to the very next line item, 6,000 for museum board, need for exhibit material supplies. So would that be ongoing? I can't see it. It's more of a one-time thing, right? So.
Yes, so this expense, if memory serves correctly, is in order to support a new exhibit that's coming to the Blockhouse. And it's an exhibit that features all of the schoolhouses along the Rideau corridor. It's currently housed in
Elgin.
Pardon? Elgin?
Elgin.
Yeah. So that museum is very generously offering to loan us that exhibit, but it does require some infrastructure like wire framing to hang the exhibits on. But again, those details can be covered by the committee in a delegation.
I think that's the best way to move forward for the museum committee to ask and request a delegation so it can explain all the interesting and exciting things that it wants to move forward with, so we have an understanding of its relevance on the budget. So appreciate that. Thank you. Any further comments or questions? None? So can we move on to number 8 or 28, please? 28. Go ahead, Councilor.
Yeah, it's actually in the bottom of 27, which is the transfer to vehicle and fleet reserve. So the way I read this is what Mr. Belchamber had suggested we need to spend on vehicles, but it's basically, that would be every year, and that is basically almost 10 times what we're currently putting away for fleet into the fleet reserves, and I don't think our fleet situation deserves 10 times more spending, so.
But I think we're gonna build up the financial capital plan, the 5-year plan, and maybe it'll become more obvious when we look at it that way. But for this year, for 2026, that's the amount that was recommended for this
Yeah,
year.
he recommended it every year.
And well,
Yeah.
and for our asset management,
Yeah.
Peter Simisco,
Simcisco.
that was part of the asset management plan. So we're talking all of our fleet, all of our fire vehicles, public works vehicles,
Equipment.
all the equipment.
We were putting away 50,000 for fire and 35 for fleet, other fleet.
That doesn't go very far.
Well, it has, I think, kept us fairly current.
We can, it'll be more evident when we look at the plan.
And my question is, why is it titled transfer to capital reserves? Why is that on an operational budget?
It
When-
is a capital reserve because it's replacing capital items
Well, I under-
like the public works vehicles and fire vehicles, so it's not operational. Probably never.
that's the point I'm trying to make, is that, I understand it's capital
It's crazy.
and it's not operational, so why is that not identified
I
in
think
the capital portion when we
So
discuss
it
that?
will be.
Yeah, because this is, like, you have to have the transfers to reserves in the operating budget because it is an expense. And that becomes an offsetting revenue for the capital budget. That's the way you do the budgets. Like, because if you don't have the transfers in the operating budget.
You have to raise the
You
money
have to-
somewhere.
yeah.
So you raise it with your
Yeah.
tax. or-
Yeah.
But wouldn't you not identify that in the capital?
It is.
Well, it
Once
is a
you,
revenue.
once you discuss it in the capital, would you not recommend that would be put into an operational budget in order to,
No, this
it's
is.
the opposite?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like Stranger Things.
The world is upside down.
Yeah, it's just Stranger Things.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, so I think in the past, I've always wanted more separation of operations budget from capital budget, because we used to have all the transfers split out within the departments. And now it seems to be consolidated all at the end here, so at least we can see it in one number and it's easier to pull it out of
Yeah.
the operating numbers so that we can see what the change in operating is
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's,
yeah.
that's still I'd have to do that manually, but do you know offhand, without this transfer to capital reserves, what is the top line number on the operating budget? So instead of I think it says 9.6% right now. What would that number be without that transfer? So that we just look at it separately,
So-
right?
It's 40,000 for every 1%.
40,700
Yeah.
for
I
every
have to plug it
1%.
into my spreadsheet to get the
Yeah.
exact number, but I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you want us to take out the entire 860?
Not necessarily take it out. I mean, you're doing the accounting here, which has to show the transfers and the balance, so. But if you can just provide the number in the notes at the top, on the top line, maybe to say what the actual increase to the operating.
Oh, without that transfer to reserves.
Without the
Yeah,
transfer to
yeah.
reserves.
That should be easy.
Well, it hasn't increased much from the 25 to the 26, if you have a look at it, 815 versus 860, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like tiny.
What's
Well,
So last year we put in,
815,000 and we're proposing 860,000, so that maybe has increased it, what, 1% maybe? If you look at last year's budget, it's not a huge jump.
well, maybe this is a good point to ask. So the version you sent out at noon hour today, why is it changed? To 860 from, it was 1.1.
we have it all, in your one pager, it identifies everything, why it's changed. So we took 40,000 from drainage. That reduced it by 40,000.
Oh, it was just okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll recommend borrowing 2 million instead to help. It will spread some of the costs over the next 15 years rather than hitting us with a 15.54% tax increase. So that's why we reduced the transfer and we're recommending the borrowing.
Understood, okay.
But your recommendation is only $2 million for all our capital projects.
For next year's, yeah. You don't want to borrow more than you need for each year because you're going to carry the payment costs. So that's recommendation for next year's capital projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I understood, but I mean, I'll talk about it during the capital budget.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Hmm. Go ahead, Councilor.
Thinking back a year or so ago when Mr. Belchamber was talking to us, he mentioned there was a municipal CPI that included the bundle of like stuff.
Yeah.
Municipal,
The construction price
municipality
index, yeah.
buys versus consumer, right? So that some refer to as MPI, but I couldn't really find anything
I can
online.
find that information for you. I know I did last year and it was higher than what we were allocating, so
Oh,
I can find it for you. I was
it'd be
just
good to
going
have
to,
that as sort of a baseline to
Yeah.
judge.
it was higher than what we had anticipated, but I can find it for you.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, so, yeah, so I'll reserve So my question's for when we get the
Mhm.
capital budget,
Yeah.
but, is there any other commentary from members? Go ahead, Council.
So I'm hearing the 9.61 will only, once the capital is, and I see now your argument, why removing it only changes it a small amount, because it's only going from 815 to 860 this year,
Yeah,
so
correct.
it'll be instead of 9.61, maybe 9.4 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It won't-
So that's a lot to ask of taxpayers without including the roads work.
Yeah.
In there,
Wait
right?
till you
Because
see-
that should be the focus of.
Wait till you see the capital, because all of the roads work is included, not all of it, but a very good portion of the roads work is included in the capital budget that will be presented.
Yeah, we've been able to do a fair bit with the capital budget and still keep the increase to 9.61%. Like we've got a fairly extensive list of the capital fleet equipment to be replaced next year. And like I said,
Roads construction.
yeah, as like as.
I was just gonna say fleet and equipment,
And
but,
Fleet equipment, roads,
but
yeah,
I think what we need to really concentrate on, this budget needs to reflect the ratepayer, because I mean, we've been building our assets for the last three budgets, staff and
Yeah.
equipment and
Yeah.
technology and so on and so forth. At some point in time, we have to, meet the requirements of,
yeah, but there
Public.
are some critical pieces of fire and public works vehicles that need to be
The budget
replaced
that we're going to
next
be
year, yeah.
presenting
Yeah.
includes have an impact of rural, urban,
Yeah.
north and south of the village.
Yeah.
So they'll have the aspects of each particular quadrant of the village, so.
As well as the critical pieces that
Yeah.
will be pulled off the road next year and will compromise services if we don't replace them.
so, yeah, but I mean, there's always other ways, right? I mean, maintaining and spending money on maintenance rather than new is always something. I mean, we all know that, sometimes equipment gets old and it needs to be replaced, but I mean, sometimes you can repair the equipment. I mean, you can have it reassessed. There's other means. And, I was gonna reserve the conversation for capital budget, but I mean, now with a couple of comments, I'm getting a little bit concerned that, we're losing focus.
No,
Because we need,
once you see the budget, you'll see, the
Yeah.
capital budget represents each department.
so are we gonna have an opportunity for council to review the full budget so we can understand the full?
Yeah.
Plan, because I mean, having conversations on portions when you're not privy to the whole plan,
I know, it's.
we can avoid a lot of back and forth. If we understand the full plan. So I mean, I think it's important perhaps moving forward that we roll the full plan out
Yeah.
to council so that we can have a full understanding of what is going to happen, because some questions may not be needed to be asked.
Exactly, and that's what
And,
you'll find.
Concerned and loss of sleep may
Yeah,
not be
I have a 4 o'clock
required.
every morning budget wake up call. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you'll see it.
So, I mean, I think we've gone through the document. I think council's looking for, a little bit of a rework. And, I think if there's no further questions on 28, I think we can move forward. Ms. Plumley, what timeline do you feel that would be appropriate for us to re-engage and to move forward?
Well, we have direction from council to do a number of verifications on the budget here. We are working on a 5-year financial straw forecast. I know we had a budget meeting scheduled for the 15th of December. I'd like to keep that as a priority setting, and that gives staff a little bit more time to work on it. Have our second full operating and capital budget the third week of January.
So
That works for everyone.
the December 15th one is just staff doing a priority, or is that,
Staff and council priority setting that we
Okay.
always do annually. Yeah,
so just a priority setting conversation?
Yeah. nothing to
Okay.
do with budget.
Nothing to do with budget?
No.
Okay, so and then we're going to reconvene mid-January, third week of January.
Yep.
Just a reminder that Roma's coming up.
Yep.
So we may have to
Well,
be
yeah, we'll place it after Roma.
flexible in and around there. So after Roma, so more likely the end of January to reconvene the conversation. So is there an opportunity at this point for staff to bring the rest of the budget to council so that we can digest that over the
Christmas.
holiday
We'd like to-
season, Christmas
We
season?
can have it to you, lots of time for the holidays,
Yes,
so that you can have a view, but no, I think there's just a fine tuning and then changing the capital projects around that we had spoken about here.
Yeah.
So if we have a strong department head meeting tomorrow, we can get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
And then hopefully have it to you by the end of next week.
yeah. So if it's necessary to have the December 15th meeting, we'll have it if it becomes clear that perhaps we can reschedule it for the new year, that's fine too,
Sure.
but whatever works for staff
Okay.
and council.
Sure.
But as we peruse through the documents, once we receive them, I guess there's an opportunity for members to reach out to
Yep.
you and ask questions, and then we could get answers from staff through you.
That's perfect. We would appreciate that ahead of time for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody is still engaged, and then when we reconvene for budget conversations where we don't have to play catch up with staff.
And any questions that we do receive, staff can circulate them to all of council so that they're aware.
Yes. Well, we need to know, so we're not asking the same questions.
Yep.
And not consuming staff's time,
Mhm.
looking for the same answers that have already been
That's good.
questions that have been asked. So I think is that anything else members would like to add to that? Is that okay? Is that a good plan moving forward? Go ahead, Councillor.
Just to build on the 9.4% number.
I think it's 9.61.
Well, I'm thinking it's without the capital in there, I'm talking about operations, so.
Okay.
Can we have staff look at another scenario or two with a lower increase and what that would look like? So staff have come to us with a request for a budget,
Mhm.
right? Normally at this point of the meeting, council would decide, is that reasonable, or should we send staff back to the drawing board and say, no, something lower is reasonable and acceptable to taxpayers, so.
So where would you like us to cut? Like, are you
Well,
talking about
I'm
capital
not-
infrastructure reserves or?
No,
No,
I'm not going to
no.
suggest anything in particular. I would suggest to council that we ask staff to go back and come back with a scenario of where you would cut or could cut.
We just cut like 5.5% from the initial one.
There's not a lot of wiggle room left if we want to follow.
Like the first one was
Yeah.
15%.
Yeah.
But wasn't that all capital?
This is same all capital too.
So the capital
This is
transfer went from 1.1 down to 860, right?
And we offset that with borrowing, but with borrowing, you have to pay back. There's an interest payment and a principal payment that we have to include. And that's included in that. So this 9 point, whatever it is with all the capital projects that we're gonna be presenting to you in a capital forecast. This includes the capital.
And if we want to take Nigel's and Mr. Belchamber's advice and Mr. Simcisco's, we do have to start spending on capital. So we are facing tax rating increases, but we did manage to shave almost 6% off and still come up with a very solid capital plan.
Yeah.
Good.
If I can make a suggestion, because I know we're going through line by line, there seem to be three areas that's stuck out that we have very little control over. It's insurance, it's salaries, and it was policing. Can we have those three areas, how much those three areas impacted the final budget? Because if we had that number,
Mhm.
so we can show the public that this is a part of the budget we really can't change.
And the conservation levy is also up
Yeah.
by 3%.
Those are things that are sort of out of our control, and how much of that 9% is equated to that?
Yeah, because I might add, like, if we're gonna go, like, going through it and cutting out 500 here, 2,000 there is not going to do anything. And unfortunately, as you said, it's these costs which are driving the tax rate increases, and we don't have control of that's unfortunately.
And just going through it, I think that's gonna eat a large chunk of that 9% up. It's going to be on those three areas.
That's an easy thing to do.
It's
Yeah.
pushing it up for sure.
Yeah, so I think if you took those three areas out, my question is how much is left?
That's a good way of looking at it. Sure.
Yeah,
And maybe by that time, we'll get some accurate policing numbers in, which would be very nice, which might take it even down lower.
Yeah, if it will come in under.
It's not gonna go any higher, but it may come in lower, so.
So I think that, to Councillor Maitland's point, I think it's absolutely, the way to go to identify
Mhm.
what we have control over and what we don't have
Yep.
control over and how it affects the budget. So, you know, that collectively may be driving the budget 2% or 3%.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but having a clearer picture on what exactly is in that 9.61%, because when I read it, I thought the 9.61% was
Just operating.
just operating, and that's why I keep asking for the full picture, and so we have a better understanding. Because of 9.61% is the full ask, and there's requirements that are consuming 3%.
Mhm.
You know, we're at 6.61%.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit better number to work.
Yeah, we can
Right?
Yeah,
get that.
leasing itself just quick is almost
Yeah.
1.5%
Yeah.
increase over last year.
Yeah.
Just a quick calculation.
Just for clarification, I'm not saying 6.61% is perfect. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's a good number to work at.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a lot of refinement to do, because I think we need to really understand the challenges in foundational core assets. So roads, water, and sewer. You know, I understand the needs in other infrastructure requirements, but there are ways. I mean, you know, when you have, you know, when I'm driving an old truck, if I can't afford to buy a new truck, I fix the old truck. But I understand there's requirements.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the thing is that, you know, we need somewhere, somehow, we need to understand that there's gonna be a little bit of lean time because we don't have the financial energy to meet all this.
Well, I look
Without-
forward to bringing you that capital budget
Yes,
and the forecast for the next 5 years, and hopefully you'll have that in 2 weeks' time,
so you're staying about 2 weeks of the take?
Yep.
Okay,
if that. But it's
I'll
longer.
do the best crunching I can as fast as I can, but I also don't wanna make mistakes.
No.
well, no,
Yeah.
no, I mean, we're not trying to rush you.
Oh,
2 weeks is the proper amount of time. That's the proper amount of time.
Yes,
But, you know, it is appreciated, the work that, you know, is being put in.
Mhm.
Like I said at the beginning, I mean, this is the opportunity for everybody to come together and get the best, path forward. So do appreciate the time and the energy, and am looking forward to the capital projects, and how we're going to satisfy that. So if there's no further comments or questions, I think what we'll do is we'll proceed and move this to closing. So we've already asked our comments and questions, so if everybody is reminded about the read-in for the Council of the Corporation of Village of Merrickville to receive information for the 2026 library budget and 2026 operational draft budget. I'll call the vote, all in favor. And that's carried, thank you. Then move on to the confirming bylaw 58/2025 that the Council of the Corporation of the Village of Merrickville-Wolford give first, second, third, final reading. The bylaw 58/2025 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for the special meeting of December 1, 2025, and further that authorization be given to the mayor clerk to sign, seal, place in the bylaw book for the municipality bylaw 58/2025. May I have a mover, please? Thank you. Seconder, please. Thank you. Call the vote. All in favor? And carried. Thank you. Adjournment that the Council of the Corporation of the Village of Merrickville-Wolford adjourn at clerk, please.
5:23.
523. Thank you. May I have a mover, please? We, we're in a seconder. We can stay longer if we want to. Call the vote. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you all.